stand for the flag salute. Tom, would you read us tonight, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom. Tammy, would you take us through roll call, please?
Yes, I will. Those present are Mayor Shaw, Council Members Baker, Johnson, Arnbrister, Kemp, and McVeigh. Staff present is myself, City Attorney, Public Works Supervisor, City Engineer, and Lieutenant Brooks.
Thank you.
Everyone's here tonight, I think. Yes.
Thank you. Look for approval of agenda, please.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the agenda.
There's a motion, a second, to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed 5-0. Thank you, Council. Now would look for approval of consent agenda, please.
Move approval of the consent agenda to include January 24, 2023 claim vouchers 7631 through 7644 and 3 EFTs in the amount of $85,358. And the January 10, 2023 meeting minutes, February 14th claim vouchers 7651 through 7672 and 3 EFTs in the amount of $20,622.67, and the January payroll in the amount of $32,884.66. The vouchers have been audited and verified by the audit committee. Second.
There's a motion, a second, to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? See no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. We'll now go to public comment, which is an opportunity for somebody in the public to have 3 minutes to share with the council. Robbie, you're up.
I came tonight to talk about We Love Rainier and to tell you what's going on. So we have a calendar that shows our events and activities for the whole year. Started that out and as you can see, in February we have our SMART program, which is a community service program that we're doing. SMART stands for School Materials and Resources for Teachers Drive. So everybody knows that teachers have to put a lot of money out of their pocket for supplies and things in the classroom. And this time of the year they run short. So one of our community service projects that we decided to do this year was to kind of help them out. So that runs the whole month of February. City Hall has said yes, that they would collect items. So if anybody wants to buy anything on the list and bring it to Tammy, that would be awesome. I will pass that around. And then the next event that we have coming up is the Easter event, April the 8th. And we're adding to that this year, so we're having some extra activities for the kids, and then some extra activities. We had the bounce house last year, that was very popular. We're going to have a hot dog vendor and that sort of thing show up. We're going to have hopefully the games that the scouts bring to Halloween, and then also some crafts and that sort of thing. We'll have books that we're giving away. We will have the kids' egg hunt along with the adult egg hunt again this year. We'll have a bake sale, and the Head Start will be there. Last year they handed out Play-Doh, so I think they're doing that again this year. Then I just wanted to mention, excuse me, for Retro Rainier, we're adding some events to that also. Last year the street dance was so popular for the Roundup days that we're going to do a street dance after Retro Rainier, and then we're going to add a few other events going on with that. And then for Roundup days, we are hoping to have some other activities right after the parade to kind of bridge the gap between the parade and the music starting at Bluegrass. So there you be. Did I make it within my
Thank you.
minutes?
You did. Yep.
Thank you, Robbie.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go to staff reports. Raimi, you have anything?
Not much this time around, guys.
questions for Rainier? Thank you. Adam, you got anything besides, we will talk in my report on the sport court, but do you have anything besides that?
No, wait on that. Besides that, the crosswalk, it's ready to go out to bid. It's just waiting for WashDOT approval. And also in other WashDOT news, the lowering of the speed limit will be sometime this spring. I don't have an exact date, but they said this spring.
Did they say how far they're going to extend it?
They haven't said that yet, no.
Any other questions for Adam? I think that's good news that they're open this spring.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Ron?
I submitted a written report. Was there questions on it?
Any questions for Ron? Ron's a one-man show here for a while. We've opened up the other position. We haven't got any candidates yet ready to interview for the open position that we've had. And our other employees on leave right now, so Ron's holding everything down, and I'm glad you're back and healthy. Dennis?
Attended CRPC, not a lot going on, re-elected the officers. The big issue, I guess, is that it's pretty well settled that we're going to get rid of Capitol Lake and make it into an estuary, which will require removing the dam and building a whole new Fifth Avenue bridge with widened lanes, and bike lanes, and sidewalks. But I don't know that I'll see it in my lifetime. It's a long process because it's local, state, and federal agencies all have to get together and approve it. But that's kind of where we're going.
Thank you. Any questions for Dennis? Ron?
I attended TPD meeting last week, and much the same thing. They maintain the same officers as they have used in the last year, so it's just continuation. And pretty well.
Any questions for Ron? Thank you, Ron. Tom?
Doing some start-off investigation into, I think I sent you a copy on it.
On the grants?
Yeah.
And I forwarded it on to Adam and Tammy and Ron, right? All three of you got my...
Basically, some grant money for emergency management. Yeah, hoping that we'll be able to get a quick little meeting together in the near future and get some grant application put in. That would just kind of help us put up some emergency stations throughout town and upgrade our radio stations and that kind of stuff. So, and I'm sure that everybody's got some other ideas too, but hopefully we'll be able to get into that grant. Other than that, that's about all I got.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Any questions for Tom? George?
Just wondering if we can get an update on the restaurants from maybe the county or somebody, see how that's progressing for this year. But that's it.
Okay. Any questions? That's all? Okay.
I'll save it for another day. No, that's all. The restaurant, just spring's coming.
Yeah.
If we can get an update, that would be great.
I will do that. Actually, that is on my list to check into. Ron, you haven't heard anything on that?
I have not heard.
I have. They've submitted the building permit to LG. They're waiting on something. I'm not sure what they're waiting on, but once they get that piece of the puzzle, then the application will be complete and they're ready to move forward.
Oh, so it'll be this year.
Mhm.
Good. Yeah, thank you.
Good. Yeah. I assumed it was going to be this year. I mean, they got the surveying and all done, so thank you. Glad you knew something.
Good job, Jim.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, George. Any questions for George? Okay, Maureen?
We had our appeals committee meeting. Are you going to update everyone on
Yeah, but you can explain it if you want.
that? No, I'll let you.
Okay. Any questions for Maureen? Bill?
March 14th is Pi Day. It's going to happen at 1:59 in the afternoon, not be before our next meeting. It's an important day.
Important day.
It is.
Okay.
What day is that now?
Pi Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Any other question? Any other thing else?
I-
Any questions
I-
for Bill?
I got it.
Pi Day was a big day when I was teaching. I'm not going to miss not having Pi Day now that I'm retired. Being a math teacher, that was always a big day.
so you're retired from teaching now?
I didn't go back after my surgery.
Oh, no, okay, I didn't know that.
No, I thought you guys knew.
No.
I didn't go back this year. No, I'm done. Okay, Tammy, then I'll finish.
Somebody said something which reminded me I needed to say something about, the grant. You had sent me an application for electric vehicle. It is far above me, the application. They asked questions that I could not answer. So we have reached out to 3 different companies to get quotes for the charging stations to see. I honestly have no idea if we're looking at $3,000 or $30,000 to install them. Oh, more than
One in
that.
front of that.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, the ones that we talked to didn't seem like they were that much. So, anyways, so my.
You're not talking to the right people.
Or maybe you're not talking to the right people.
Level 3.
Oh, it has to be.
Otherwise, you're just wasting money.
So, anyways, my thought process on that, and like with Tom's grant he's speaking of, if we're going to keep applying for these grants, that is not my specialty. We may need to hire a grant writer because I do not have the knowledge to know how to do that. Other than that, please have a cookie. It's Valentine's Day. And I'm going to be out of the office starting tomorrow until the 27th. So if you need anything from me, my girls will be happy to help you. And that's all I had.
Vacation?
Yes.
Where are you going?
Cancun.
You got an extra seat?
I got a full-size suitcase this year.
Just so you know, in the past, that's what we did. No, they did contract with a grant writer, which Charmaine was in here.
Okay.
That's what we've done in the past on certain grants that were pretty involved. I believe we used a lady down at Hales. I can't remember her name.
I think we paid her $10,000 and she didn't come up with a grant. And the trouble is, as I understand it, is you can't have somebody apply and give them a percent
Yeah.
Right.
fee. So it's hard.
I mean, we've gotten small grants. I've written for small grants, and we've gotten them, I think, just not because I'm special. I think just because they probably give them to everybody that applies. But some of these larger ones, like that one's from the Department of Commerce and way above my head. So rest assured I did look into it. I just was not able to complete it.
You
Thank you.
used to be able to give a percentage of the grant to the grant writer. And I think the last time we were able to do that was when we did the water line in Tipton.
Yeah.
We actually
Yeah.
had a grant writer that got us some money, and she got a percentage.
Yeah, and you know, it's pretty easy to get up to $25,000 grant. Those are pretty easy to get. But when you get above the 50, 75,000 range, it gets a lot more detailed, and they want a lot more data honestly, one, we don't have time to put into that, for one, and for two, it's not our expertise. Like Randy said, it's just not what we do, so.
Tonight, I think, applies for a lot of grants. Is there any way to work with maybe another city to write some of this stuff? I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Tammy? Okay, I've got some things that are probably going to be most of our meeting tonight. First of all, we had our Thurston County Mayor's meeting last week with also the Port Commission Chair and the Thurston County Commissioners Chair present. It's the first time in probably 9 months that we've had all 7 mayors and both represented for the Port and the Commissioners. It was a great meeting. Most of our dialogue was dealing with, the expanded 5 county commissioners and 5 port commissioners, and kind of just who different people have heard are going to run, and representing out here. If you haven't heard, Tenino's mayor Wayne Rainier is going to. He's running for the commissioner seat out in this area. That's the only one I've heard that's running out that would represent our piece of the pie. There's a little bit of talk about who's going to run on the Port Commission, but they haven't officially announced, and I don't want to put anything on public record on a name about that. But that's pretty much what we talked about that, and kind of our feelings on the candidates. As Maureen said, we had, from our last meeting, we did have our appeals group meeting with Mr. Murphy. Council appointed Maureen. Mr. Cameron was present, myself, Rainey, and then the committee selected Todd Stansel to sit on it with us. Having some background in things like that in his past was really helpful, because they've had a lot of that in the past at Yale. We heard the appeal, and then we debated on it for another half hour. And basically what we came up with is a fee that he was responsible for covering all the taxpayers' money. So we billed for Bill's time and effort. We billed for Rainey's time and effort. And he hadn't submitted his bill yet, but we had him submit his bill for all the hours he had in that project. We got a bill from the city, Tammy's end, and basically it came to just under $2,000. And we have sent him a letter giving him 60 days, 30 days.
21 days.
21 days. 21 days to take our offer, and the offer's paying the costs that was put into all the issues that he has brought on upon himself, and he is not to get any other building permits from the city until that is taken care of, and he has 21 days to sign the agreement. And if he does not sign the agreement, then it kicks back to the $5,500. Anything you want to add to that, Maureen?
No, do we have an update if we've heard from him?
Well, I heard back from him when I emailed him the documents. I got a response via email, and he was angry. And then he did call me that night, and I explained it to him a little more in depth, and explained to him that he had a timeline that he needed to abide by, or the problem's not going to go away. And we have not heard from him since then. And that was Monday the 6th. And he has until the 27th to respond.
His first response was basically, he didn't read through the whole document.
Correct.
Fourth page of the document says $5,500, which is what his original bill was. And he stopped reading there and sent an email to Tammy. Then when he called her, she pointed out that, Mr. Murphy, you have not continued to read. It's only $1,900 and some change. Oh, I didn't get that far. Am I correct?
Correct.
Turn the page and read the rest of the document. So, any other you want to bring in?
No.
Bill, did I miss anything, or?
Yeah. we ought to have a wager on whether you'll sign the agreement or not.
No, we're on public record. No wagers. We'd be getting in trouble for betting. Any questions on the update there? I know Dennis sat in as a public on it until we went into deliberation. I don't think we, Anyway, okay. Hopefully by the next meeting, we'll at least know if he signed the day, because 21 days will be up. Okay, the last thing is Beth handed out the sport court stuff for you. There's a drawing of what Adam is now. It's been all turned over to Adam from Mr. Hinton. And Adam and I and Tammy and Ron met here a couple weeks ago. But there is basically the drawing and you'll see a updated engineering cost, which we need to talk about. Back in June, if you remember right, we needed to have some matching funds. This is when John Hinton was still involved. We had to have some matching funds to get the $250,000 from Thurston County. On the June meeting of last year, you guys approved an additional $80,000, which would be used for out of the COVID money, to get at that point in time what we thought was $330,000 project. Okay? Well, Adam jumped on board, and you will see on the other sheet that I gave you that the cost estimate, which is pretty accurate now, right, Adam?
It is.
Has come in at $415,000. We reached out to Mr. Hinton, as in where did we go from 330 to 415? John had overlooked and did not put in the lighting. So if you look on line number 17, illumination is the $63,000 that we are basically short. And as soon as Adam gave us that in our meeting 2 weeks ago, Ron and Tammy and I questioned Adam, and Adam got back with John, and we found out where the mislink was. So, guess what where we're at now is staff is wanting us to approve the 415, which means an additional from the original 330, or another 65, 70. And Tammy, you want to let them share with them what we have in our COVID fund? I'll let you share that, because I had you look it up yesterday.
Yes, so we got $619,000 total, and we've spent about $315,000, so about half of what we got. So we have we have enough to cover the difference that we need for sure. So,
and the lighting, it is $63,000. I don't know, Adam. Does it show the poles on the maps that you gave us that I made for them?
Yeah, I actually have I can show you after the meeting, but I have the illumination study from PSC now.
Okay.
And
But the poles, I'll let you address
Right there.
that.
if that's that white quad, I want you to go.
The elimination would include,
Where's it going?
Will County.
the lighting would involve the sports court. It would involve the basketball court. So right now there's one light on the basketball court. If we're going to do this right and put the light poles with the new sport court, we would basically be doing the basketball court too. So we'd end up having 4 light poles down there, one on each side of the basketball court and one on each side of the tennis pickleball courts. So the lighting is kind of for both of those both courts rather than just the one. Adam, you want to add anything on
there's 6 lights.
your study? What's that?
There's 6 lights.
6 light poles, you're right.
Yeah, 2 for the basketball court. Both of them, they're near the ends to illuminate the backboard. So people can see where they're shooting. And then on the pickleball courts and the tennis courts, they're positioned at the center line to illuminate the center out from there. So I have a study I can give you after this.
And it is pretty good. I mean, it is, you've done the study on the lighting, that it
Yeah.
is good lighting, so somebody could go down and play in the evening tennis or pickleball, right?
Right. Yeah, it's not going to be the current pole down there at all. They're going to be if you have seen in parking lots, there's I'm trying to think of an example nearby maybe that you recognize, but it's like a square box and very bright LEDs.
Like the one across the street?
Yeah, similar to that, but much brighter and white. Yeah.
So, have any questions that we need to answer?
Yeah, I have a question about the lighting. Is this lighting gonna be on a timer? Because I'm thinking that I wouldn't necessarily wanna live across the street from this basketball, pickleball, tennis court if these lights are just gonna come on at dusk and stay open till dawn, or, you know, with these bright lights in my front window. If they came on and they were on until 10 or maybe 11 and then went off, I wouldn't have a problem.
Can you answer that, Adam?
Yeah, PSC has stated that there is a flat fee for each light per month, but that they do have the ability to build them with timers. And I'm not sure about the details about that yet, about how the city would control them, but they said that is possible.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you wanna come play after dark, great, but I don't think anybody needs to be out there playing tennis or pickleball at 12 or 1 or 2 in the morning with the lights shining in people's windows.
I think the lights, until we see them, Dennis, but I think I've seen some of these courts. I think it's like Adam said, they're pretty much projected downward. And it shouldn't be an issue with the neighborhood.
And that's gonna be offset anyway, back, is it gonna be behind the basketball court?
Now they'd be on both ends of the basketball court. Right
But I'm
now,
saying the new light, well, most of them would be,
they'd be on 2 on 507 side of the court, 2 on the other side on the new courts, and then 1 on each end of the basketball court.
Well, I think it's something we need to keep in mind.
Okay?
Again, you know, I mean, maybe they're gonna be centered on the courts, but still, I think if I lived in one of those homes, right now I can look out my front window and I just have a, you know, dark scene across the view, and the next thing you know, I have all bright lights. I'd probably be unhappy.
That is something you've run through PSC, Adam, that they could be on a timer. Or
It can be on a timer, yeah, and I can bring that question further to PSC because this study that they've done, like you can see it. They show the contours of how far the light reaches and at what strengths per contour. So yeah, I can ask him to address that and tell him how close the closest houses are over that way. Yeah.
Okay?
any other questions? Tom, Ron, George,
no,
Maureen? So I think what I would like to have is I think we need to have a motion to allocate funds to add on to the $250,000 that we got from Thurston County so Adam can proceed and send this to bid. This is what you need from us tonight. Is that right, Adam?
Yeah. Well, I have a few other details to work out and little things to work out with Ron, but yeah, it's pretty close to bid, you know.
So,
I'd like to make.
no, go ahead, George.
I would say I'd like to make a motion that we.
Oh, okay, I had a couple more questions.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. We have over 300,000 left
Yes.
in our COVID funding. Do we have any other big projects or projects that we wanted to accomplish?
I don't know that. I haven't heard of anything. All of our projects have been littler ones, but we can use it for road repairs too. And I know there's a few roads that we've talked about that are smaller than the 6-year plan type of roads. So I don't know that we want to go spending all of it on, park projects if we can spend it other ways that might be more beneficial to everybody.
And when does that money run out?
We have to have it spent by December of 24.
Year and a half.
So maybe what we need to think about in addition to this is come up with a list of projects to spend that money, because it sure would be negligent of us to not do it and let it go away.
Oh, it won't go away. I know that.
Well, that's easy to say. Look how long it's taken us to get this done, how long it's taken us to get the crossing done. We come up with some projects. 24 is not that far away.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we'll come up with some ideas for that. I guess if we spent the additional 165, 165 of it on the sport court, we'd still have about 150,000. So start thinking.
And that can go away pretty fast if you start patching up some roads. That can go away really fast. So,
Dennis, you said you had another question, or was that it?
No, that's I want to make sure that we use
We'll use it.
this money.
We've never not used money. We'll use. You guys have used money.
We have to solve this COVID problem.
Yes.
We will
Like
use.
this basketball or these tennis courts.
It's going to help.
Yeah, sure we're gonna do that.
We will have another proposal at the next meeting, just to make you happy, Dennis.
Well, not to make me happy.
No,
I just,
we'll use the money. Okay, George. Now
I'd just
you
like
make
to
your
make a
motion.
motion that we throw in $165,000 to get this project of the courts rolling.
Second.
There's a motion, a second, to allocate $165,000 for the sports court. Any further discussion? See no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Ball's in your court, Adam.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Nice one.
Feel the pressure yet?
This will be your first major project since taking John's place.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done with staff reports. Don't have any new business. Okay. Don't have any old
Are you going to
business.
talk about the polls?
Yeah. Yeah, one more option. So the light poles the planter poles that the council bought, Ron and I and Tammy had a meeting with RGD, and basically they said we cannot put them on 507. There's too many fiber optics. There's too many sidewalk issues. This ends up being a lot bigger project in engineering to put this big concrete block in the ground. I'm just being exactly what's been told to the three of us is it's a big hole, and basically we can maybe put two of the eight on 507. So what we came up with is, you gotta visualize with me. If you go down if you go down the trail and you start at the right where the trail goes to the Vets Park, there's an asphalt parking lot or asphalt walkway right there where our new parking lots are too. If we start right there and go all the way down to which will be our new bathrooms, or we go down to the gazebo down there, that's a straight path with no distractions. There's one tree in the way. We're going to pull that tree out. There's nothing there. If you go over there after the meeting right now, because we're going to be done in 2 minutes, and you look down that trail, there's nothing there. And our suggestion would be putting all 8 of them there. Our thought process was, we've got things set up here. We've got some monuments set up on this part of the trail. There's really nothing down there. And it'd be real easy access for us to water, driving down the trail. They'd be 6 feet off the trail. Isn't that what the distance was? And he'd space them out, all 8 of them, equal distance apart on that whole stretch. And then the thought process would be, when you guys like it, we do that end of town next, because it's a straight shot. So,
Did we get power outlets on those poles?
We did not, but you can add solar lighting to them.
I was thinking in terms of like, if we did some Christmas activity or something, it'd be kind of nice to be kind of a Christmas decoration on that.
You can do banners and you can do.
They don't have electricity, Kim.
No, they don't have.
They're
no.
just like flower poles.
But you can get a light, a solar light that can go on that particular pole. And just to add, is we're talking about 100 feet apart down through there. So it's actually will be spaced out really nice to where you'll be able to see it from the highway, from the functions in the park. I like it myself. I mean, I support that.
that's the best option we could come up with if you want. I mean, so that's where it was. You want to add to that?
Yes, on that note, I got a quote from Doug for $18,000 to install them. That seemed like a lot to me. And so we have reached out to the company that sold us the poles, and they were shocked at that number as well. So they gave us a number to somebody that they know that installs them up north, and he's on vacation until the 25th, I think. So once he gets back from vacation, and we're going to talk to him and see if that bid is within reason, or if Doug's bid was based on the engineering report, but the engineering for how they're installed seems aggressive for what the poles are. They're just going to hold a flower pot. They're not, So anyway, so we're going to double check with them before we make a decision on. We'll bring it back to council, I suppose, in March.
That's news to me, so thank you.
Yes,
Huh?
I did not know that either.
I didn't.
I just got it today.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been busy.
That's the update. I guess we're going to bring you more information in March, but that's the update, as in I think trying to put them, I'm convinced it'd be real hard to get 8 of them on 507, spaced out, looking good with all the other things there. And I think the trail is a good idea myself.
I like it.
But it sounds like we'll have more information in March. Yes.
Is 8, you're saying 800 feet to do 8 of them?
Yeah, there'd be about 100 feet apart. That
Is
works
that kind of
for.
aggressive to do it all? I mean, would you want to go 4 there and 4 down there?
No, actually, it doesn't. It seems like a long distance.
It does
but
seem
if you-
like a long
But if you
distance.
talk from the path that was paved, it's actually just down about to where the park shelter is. So
Really?
it's
Okay.
yeah, it's just that one strip there. It's not on down past that. So it's in the trees.
And 100 feet's 33 yards, so it's, from here to the, not quite to the other side of the road. I mean, they'd be spaced out.
I think they would look really well.
And that part of town with the car shows and everything,
Yeah.
it's a lot of use.
The banners you can hang off of it.
Yeah, and the trail. I think
And
that's
flags. I think the flags would look so amazing
great.
on them.
Yeah. And people driving through town too. It's really nice.
Okay, that's old business. Any more old business that I missed?
No, I don't have anything.
For adjournment,
Move to adjourn?
Second.
motion and a second to adjourn. Any further discussion? No further. Meeting adjourned officially at 5:39.